Welcome back. As of this taping, Harney County Circuit Court Judge Robert Rashio is holding a bench trial to determine whether Oregon Measure 114 follows the state constitution and is a reasonable response to gun violence. Measure 114 was barely approved by voters last November. It requires a permit to buy a gun, bans magazines holding more than 10 rounds, and requires a completed background check. A federal judge has already determined that Measure 114 is constitutional on the federal level, but it still hasn't gone into effect, held up by the legal challenges. Jess Marks is executive director of the Oregon Alliance for Gun Safety, which backed Measure 114. Welcome back to Eye on Northwest Politics.
Hi, Ken. Thank you for having me here today to talk about gun violence prevention and how Measure 114 can help save lives here in Oregon.
How frustrating is it that Measure 114 has not gone into effect nearly a year after voters voted it in?
Great question. Every day that Measure 114 is delayed, we know that lives are prevented from being saved. This is a policy that was brought by Oregon voters and that research shows saves lives. You just mentioned it ends the loophole that prevents background checks from going through. It bans the purchase of high-capacity magazines, so those that hold 10 or more bullets that are typically used by our military and service members in war. And it requires safety and permitting and training for the purchase of a new gun. And these are actually policies that are backed by nationally by 3 out of 4 citizens. They're policies that respect the rights of responsible gun owners while saving lives. And in fact, recently, there was new research that came out from Daniel Webster, a leading researcher at a Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, that shows they would have saved over 1,000 lives here in Oregon over a 10-year period.
You know, the trial in Harney County, which we mentioned, it happens this week. Take a listen to the main argument by the opponents in this trial.
This case is not about public health, public safety, or public concern. This is about individual rights. This is about the individual right to self-defense and the right to bear arms to secure that right.
How do you respond to that argument?
Yeah, you know, I think that the U.S. Constitution, the Supreme Court, and the Oregon Constitution have long held that we have to balance individual rights with public community safety. And, you know, I grew up in a family of responsible gun owners. And what I know about Measure 114 is that it respects those rights while also saying we have to do something about the gun violence and gun suicide epidemic that our state is facing. In Oregon in 2021, it's the last year we have data available, we lost almost 700 Oregonians to gun deaths. These are our data, but they're not. These are our neighbors, these are our brothers, our grandfathers, our friends. And Measure 114's policies are about saving those lives and about community safety. There always has to be a balance.
You know, the other main argument regarding gun laws, more restrictions on law-abiding gun owners just means criminals will have the access to more lethal weapons, including the higher magazine guns, that kind of thing. Is that a valid argument that you're putting more restrictions on law-abiding gun owners, which frees up criminals to have the more lethal weapons?
You know, going back to that research from Johns Hopkins University, people often say that, and I think there's just a misunderstanding of how that permitting purchase works. So, for example, one of the key findings out of that research is that it was implemented in Connecticut. They looked at reduction in illegal gun sales, something that's kind of a complicated concept, but straw gun sales. And there was a 70% reduction in those illegal gun sales, where somebody goes and buys a gun on behalf of someone else, and then it's used in crime. So the policies actually are going to do a lot to reduce crime, reduce homicides and shootings. We've had a 135% increase in homicides over the past 10 years, and they will reduce in those areas as well as in suicide.
Let's say this decision in Harney County goes against Measure 114. So what do you do next at the Alliance?
Yeah, we're really confident that will ultimately prevail. As you noted, it was found constitutional with our federal constitution, which is a much more stringent test. Here in Oregon, our constitution explicitly gives voters 170,000 Oregonians brought that ballot to the measure under the leadership of Lift Every Voice Oregon. And they brought it because it was within their latitude to care about public safety. And so we believe it will be appealed. We understand it will probably go all the way up to the state Supreme Court, and we fully expect the federal appeal to continue as well. But we're in it for the long fight because lives depend on it.
The Oregon legislature did pass legislation banning ghost guns. We've passed gun storage laws here in Oregon. Altogether, we have some pretty tough gun laws that are already on the books. Can we enforce these laws, and how can you assure the voters that more laws will actually make a difference when it comes to gun violence?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you for bringing that up. And one of the key things I think we all need to think about is the gun lobby has really made it so this has become such a divisive issue. And in reality, Oregonians care about saving lives. They care about their community members. And some of those policies that you're talking about are some of the most effective things that we can do if we can bridge across divides and really bring people together around a culture of responsible gun ownership. So for example, secure storage. If we could increase secure storage by 20% in Oregon over 10 years, we would see a 30% reduction in both suicides and homicides. So those policies can be really effective if we come together as a community and bridge some of those divides and support a culture of responsible gun ownership.
Jess Marks, thank you for being here on Eye on Northwest Politics and explaining your position on Measure 114.
Thank you.